Oh, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? My name is Kieran, and I help people using a spiritual perspective. And today, guys, I'm outside. As you can see, this is not a background at a studio. This is the real world with rocks and snakes and bumblebees and children with dogs somewhere around here. And I am inspired to do a video on something that actually happens quite a bit. And I guess just to get right down to it, what I really want to talk about is the twin flame label and the best way to handle it. The best way to handle a label that seems to cause more stress and pain and heartache than the actual relationship itself, and actually love, the separation of not being with somebody that you care about, okay? Because most people's questions to me are almost always, is this person my twin flame, right? That's what people are really interested in knowing is Daniel, Stephen, Jessica, Samantha, and so on, and other white people names, are they all my twin, right? People really want to know that. And the thing is, there is no way to know. There's no way to know if somebody is your twin. What I mean by that is there's no way to prove it. There's no way to actually prove if someone is your twin flame. And that's the honest truth. And if anybody claims differently, they are not telling you the truth, and they're probably going to charge you some outlandish fee to do some type of psychic thing where they connect you to some type of ethereal crap. And they tell you, oh yeah, well for $80 I can tell you who your twin is, right? Those types of situations aren't actually going to help you, because what's more important what I think is more important than just the question, is this person my twin flame? I think what you really have to ask yourself is this person the right one for me? Can I grow with this person? Does this person show me love? Do I have a chance? Is there a legitimate chance with this person? Because what the twin flame, the label does, what that sort of does to a connection, is it puts you in a box immediately. And when you're put in a box, you want to organize things inside of that box. You want to take certain things and treat them with these 20/20 vision. Like, you really want to analyze it. You want to see everything clearly. But you're taking something that can't be proven. That's a sort of new age English word that we all love to hear. And you're trying to force it into a box. A box which, trying to contain spirituality, is a very hard thing to do, which a lot of spiritual people try to do, is to try to contain sort of just the feeling that you get from coexisting with a greater purpose. And right, that's sort of a vague way of saying what spirituality is. But people try to box that in and make it just like religion. And twin flame is no different. You're trying to box something in. You're trying to keep something closed up. And that doesn't really make it available for you to grow as a person, because you're connecting to something that is being limited. So I guess what this would look like in reality, is you wondering if a toxic person is your twin. And this happens a lot. You get a lot of people wondering if somebody who just outright doesn't talk to them, doesn't communicate with them, doesn't receive or give, isn't interested, is married, has been in a relationship for years, that you don't see them, there's no effort whatsoever. But because you feel such a strong connection, because you have the energy, because there's a heart, because you have a heart, because you have emotions, because you have feelings, that gets in the way. Because if it wasn't for the label, you would just understand that you feel very strongly for someone, but maybe you would analyze exactly why. But the label puts you in a position where you're now believing something that you don't already know is true, that you can't actually prove, and now you're throwing in a really horrible communication. You're throwing in a lot of drama. You're throwing in a lot of crap, and you're trying to have to prove that at every turn. And that's very difficult. It's not just difficult because here I am, Kieran, telling you twin flames are nonsense. That's not what I'm doing. I'm here telling you it's difficult because you have to fight. You have to fight like everybody. You have to fight yourself. You have to fight the person that you think is your twin. You have to fight people that are telling you they're not your twin, or people that are telling you you're twin but are giving you bad advice. And then you have to fight your regular life. So, I mean, Jesus, how do people do that? Well, the thing is, they don't. Most people that I've ever come into contact with that have believed they're in twin flame relationships, they all define twin flames differently, and yet all of them are somehow in the same position. All of them are in the same position, which is to say, not with the person that they would like to be with. And that has nothing to do with twin flames. That has nothing to do with the label. That is a human experience. How many times have humans been in love with someone and that did not love them back? Okay, so all the twin flame label does is look to explain something spiritual. That's all it's really trying to do. But you can't box in something spiritual, so it's already set up for failure. That's what I'm trying to say. So what happens is people tend to label twin flames as different sort of definition, but it usually comes down to about two, okay? You either believe that twin flames are toxic, and you think that they just come into your life to change you, in which case you're validated from your experience with somebody you believe to be your twin, and you say to other people, twins are toxic people. They exist, but they're not here for love. They're not here for true love. They're just toxic. You learn your lesson and you move on, okay? So people have that perspective, and they live their life with that. The other perspective is you go, no, it doesn't matter if the person's toxic. It doesn't matter if any of this. It doesn't matter if, they haven't talked to me in 8 years, or they're married, or, it doesn't matter about any of that. It's true love, and you'll always be together, and so you have to stay together. And I've had like coaches tell me at a point in my life where I was absolutely, like really believing in somebody being my twin. And, she would tell me, like, it didn't matter how toxic I would explain the situation, she would tell me that I was just looking for a way out of my relationship, that I needed to commit even more. I needed to commit even more to the relationship that had no commitment at all. And for a low price of $45 or some shit, I could get some special reading and figure out what was really going on. There's tons of people like that, well-meaning ones, people that don't mean well, and everywhere in between. But the thing is, all of that, really what it comes down to is a validation of your own experience, which isn't necessarily any more truth than me saying that some color is red when you see burgundy, right? It's not, and none of it's really true in a sense. It's true to everybody. So, and then of course you have people, which is myself, who I believe take it a step back and they say, you know what, if twin flames are real, it should be a beautiful connection, one that has real growth, one that doesn't have the toxicity, one that has commitment, one that has communication, one where, yes, there's difficulties like any relationship, maybe some that are very spiritual and deep, but you always choose each other in the end, right? And some people want to say, well, that's not a twin flame, that's a soulmate, right? And then there's going to be people that say, well, soulmates aren't real either. And at the end of the day, all these labels do to serve to box you in. I mean, the people that are the masters of the world, the people that I follow, the people that I really enjoy listening to, not that I have to agree with everything they say, but they all tend to have a perspective where they're not labeling this human experience. They're not trying to, it's not really about finding the one. It's not about a twin flame. It's not about soulmate. When you ask it with the most honest of intentions, is this person right for me? It doesn't matter if someone's your twin flame, and it doesn't matter if they're your soulmate. It doesn't matter if they're karmic. It doesn't matter if anything. I don't know what kind of crappy name we come up with, violet ray. It doesn't matter what kind of starfish ray they are or any other new age term. None of that stuff matters. Because say if somebody is your twin, and you know 100% this person's my twin flame, well, you have to choose a perspective. So you're either choosing the part where it's a toxic relationship and you don't want to deal with it, and that's what a twin is, so then you have proven to yourself the twin flames are real, or it's the other one where you're never going to be together and doesn't matter, but you love them and you keep believing that you'll be together, and then your perspective is validated. Or like me, you believe that If there are twin flames, if it's real, it's a healthy, beautiful connection, and it grows over time. Difficulty, sure. Take some of the stereotypical stuff of a twin flame relationship, but that there's actual growth in communication, okay, as individuals, not just stagnancy for years and years and years and years, okay? Because I don't know what people expect. Do they expect to be with their twin at the age of 75? That's when you guys got it figured out? Spend the last 15 years, 10 years of your life together? Maybe that's worth it. Maybe that's what your soul wanted. Maybe that's the experience you're really holding out for. But to me, it seems like a lot of people are wasting their time. And so at the end of the day, when you lay your head on your pillow and you have all the worries of your life and your love life and everything, really, does it matter if you knew 100%? If you knew 100%, let's say Stephen is your twin flame, 100% Stephen's your twin flame. Well, Stephen doesn't want to be with you. So what does knowing your twin flame mean? No, what does it mean to you? And even if he likes you, what does it mean to you if he's married and lives in Indonesia and you're married and you live in Germany? You understand? So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Just because somebody has a label attached to them doesn't necessarily mean they're supposed to be in your life for the long term. And that's not some kind of harsh reality. That's not really even mean, and it has nothing to do with twin flames or not. That's just how you grow. That's just how things develop. You know how many people you know in your life that are not currently in your life anymore? And how many people you can imagine will be in your life in the future for years and years? This is a path. This is part of the way forward. And part of the way forward is not to stay stagnant in emotions that no longer serve you, because we want to justify our feelings. We want to justify our intense feelings for someone by labeling them, because then you get to keep your feelings and you get to hold on to them and you don't have to move forward, okay? So there's a very dangerous game that's being played with twin flames, and a lot of people are manipulating people like you that are watching, people like me in the past, with promises of truths, with promises of communication, with promises of realities, and time again people are disappointed, and I've seen it over and over again with friends, colleagues, clients. People, I'll say, this person come back, I can see it in a tarot reading, you know what I mean? And then they come back, but it's the same shit, right? So it doesn't matter if you get a tarot reading, are they my twin or are they coming back? Because if the relationship's not right for you, then you're going to have to choose yourself. That's the point. And people want to treat these relationships as some sort of test for your love, but it's a test of self-love, if anything, not just how long you can hold out until this relationship works. It's how long you can hold out before you decide, I've had enough, time to care about myself maybe, time to open up my eyes to my own future, where I'd like to be, instead of relying on love. Because the people who tend to believe in twin flame relationships, which isn't necessarily wrong, okay, I was one of them, I guess I still am, right? It's just, I don't claim to know anything 100%. It's just the people that tend to get into these spirals are people who have a deep need and desire for love in their life, but they're also the types of people that have a sort of lack feeling of that already, okay? People that were, probably abandoned as children, probably didn't have a strong, stable foundation growing up, some type of emotional, mental, sometimes physical abuse, okay? And that kind of looks different. And then you may meet a man or a woman or a gender binary chocolate starfish, and you end up having to experience all of that pent-up crap with this one person. And then you have that label, and the next thing you know, you attach yourself to it, and you're stuck in it for 4 or 5 years, and that's difficult and it's hard. And then you're not really willing at that point to listen to anybody, even if people do have different perspectives than you. So to me, to summarize, the best way to treat the twin flame label is absolutely as some sort of non-existent entity. The best way is to detach. The best way is to move forward. Do not ask yourself if Stephen or Jess is your twin flame. Ask if they are, if they're right for you, if they have a place that they can fit in your life now and in the future. In 3 months, 6 months, 2 years, 6 years. Can they fit in your future? If you ask yourself that question, the journey will become easier. And then you will start to see and come up with your own truth about the twin flame relationship and about what it all means in your life and your place in the universe and spirituality in general. Because you don't have to listen to me, you don't have to take my word for it, but you should take your own word for it. And you should delve deep into what it means. You should challenge yourself, challenge me, challenge everybody's truth and intention until you come up with the most simplest form. And you'll usually know it because it'll be simple. It'll be small, it'll be recognizable, and that's why I break down, are they my twin, to can they fit in my life? Because that's the simplest form it can take. Do they help me or do they hurt me? And if they help you, if they're here to stay, if they're here to helping you grow, then you know your answer. And you don't need the label to know that answer. You don't need a label to know that you love somebody. And you don't need a label to know if somebody is good for you and can fit into your life and can be good for the future as well. Okay, so anyway, guys, that's just my take on it, my perspective. My leg has fallen asleep here. This is going to be a rough one climbing up the rest of these rocks. I hope you guys have a good weekend. I'll be doing the rest of the water signs and fire signs tarot readings, and probably tomorrow, guys. Okay, so I will talk soon, and hope you guys have a good weekend again. Try not to break this camera as I'm shutting it off. It's very precarious. Okay, guys, bye-bye.